This is ridiculous. Bottom line is, he's the president of the United States. He probably has other things that's on his mind. I want to know what book he's reading, and I want to know what he's saying. Why an ascot? Because I want my America back.
Set us straight, Roland Martin.
From our Washington, D.C. studios, Roland Martin, good morning.
My people, good morning, good morning. Let me start off time with a shout out to my parents, Reginald and Melda Martin, celebrating 46 years of marriage.
Wow.
Instead of, 46
Congratulations.
years. Absolutely. So I want to give them that shout out. In
and
November,
that's not
Tom,
the only thing you're giving them, though, is it?
They staying in my house rent free. I paid for it. Trust me, they got a
And
whole lot.
you keep bringing it up.
And you did that for years in their house,
I'm just letting you know. Just letting you know.
Now, how many years you stay rent free at their house?
Oh, I had to pay rent. I had to wash dishes, all that stuff. So I got you.
Oh, whatever.
Back up off of brother. All right, then. Tom, in November, Republicans, of course, lost the White House to President Barack Obama, and a lot of soul searching in the GOP. A significant report was done. Even college Republicans got in on it. And one of the things that they realized, they're going to have to do a much better job reaching out to African Americans. Joining us this morning is the chairman of the Republican National Committee, Reince Priebus. Reince, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Roland. Hey, guys.
You're going to be in Ohio tomorrow as the kickoff to this African American outreach, and this report was very damning across the board. In one of the areas, it says you guys have got to do a better job talking and relating with black folks.
Well, that's absolutely true. And one of the things that's glaring as a problem is that we just can't survive as a party by being a national organization that shows up 3 months before an election and expects to move voters our direction. And, the fact of the matter is that we've got to be engaged in the communities on a year-round basis. And I'm not interested, Roland, in making headlines by just hiring a few people down the hallway and calling that engagement. We want to hire people and get to know people in the communities of which that we want to explain what we're about and that we want to move voters in. And so if we're trying to engage in Cleveland, that means we need to find community leaders in Cleveland that are willing to work with us in Cleveland to communicate with the voters in Cleveland. And I know that seems pretty simple, but we just haven't been a party that's been a year-round party on the ground in communities, 3 years before an election. And that really is a problem, and I want to fix it.
Okay, well, one of the problems might be that you tried to suppress the black vote in this last election.
Well, I don't see that. Look, I happen to believe, obviously, that protecting the vote is important, and that voter suppression is obviously has no place in our world or our society.
But you did that.
No, I don't. That's not the case. You know what? I come from a state of Wisconsin, and I got to tell you, we had a state in our history is that we've got a state where vote fraud, I believe, is pretty prevalent. We've had a police report issued that's about 70 pages long, and part of our problem in a state like Wisconsin was that people could show up and vote on Election Day with no voter ID, not even an electric bill or anything with a name on it. They could raise their right hand.
But that's
cast the ballot.
Wisconsin. That's Wisconsin.
Yeah. But I'm just telling you about what in a state like Wisconsin. I'm just telling you, like in a state like that photo ID and making sure that people say who they are, it really is who they are, and that they live in a place that they really live in. And in many places, like Wisconsin, you have vote fraud where people are registering in empty lots. I mean, this is not made-up stuff. I mean, this has happened. There are police reports issued on this subject, and it's real. And so that's not true.
Roland, you understand where I'm coming from, right?
Yeah, that's one, and right. It's one of the issues but that's certainly one of the issues that we've talked about, and not just the issue of even voters, but also you said explaining our issues. But isn't this also about listening to what African Americans say are their issues, are their concerns, and saying how you as a party can also speak to those issues?
Well, listen, that's the number one issue. Sometimes you got to keep your mouth shut and listen, and that's what we're doing in Cleveland tomorrow. And I agree with you. And take your lumps, and you also learn and change, and be a party that gets to know people and builds genuine, real, authentic relationships. And I agree with that.
I got to ask you this real quick. You've obviously had critics within your own party who are African American. J.C. Watts has made some statements, former Chairman Michael Steele. Do you plan on sitting down with them? They've been in the trenches for a number of years. Michael Steele came on this show several times when he was chairman. Do you plan on sitting down with them to get their thoughts? Like I said, because they've been pushing this issue for a long time.
Yeah, but also but we also have a party, though. Even though that's true, and number one, yes, of course, we want to build our party, and JC and Michael are an important part of our party, and we need to build. But this is also something, Roland, that's never been done before. I mean, hiring a few people down the hallway and saying that this is somehow voter engagement, in my mind, this isn't true. I think that you need hundreds of people across the country that are working with you and on behalf of the party to engage voters. And so, that's the only way you're going to build the party. And guys, I'm not looking, we're not going to be able to carpet the world in 3 months. I'm not naive. But I do think that we can do, we can get to 10 and 15 and 20% if we work hard and have a long-term view on what our party needs to do. And so this is all part of it. And I get it. And the criticism in many cases is fair. Just a suggestion,
sir, but you might want to talk to members of Congress and have them start talking to members of the opposite party and get things going there as well. And that might get people a little bit more open to what you have to say.
Look, I agree. I think every member should fight for a majority of every demographic in their district, and they'd be helping our country. And in the long term, obviously helping our party, but it's about America, not the Republican Party, and I think this is all just one big part of it.
Okay.
All right, Reince Priebus, Chairman of the Republican National Committee. We appreciate it and look forward to having you back.
Blessings, guys.
And to you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay. I'm fired up about the Republican Party. That fired me up to want to.
Wow.
How about you, Siv? How you feel about the Republican Party after that?
Fire, but not.
I'll tell you what, if you want to communicate.